Sunday morning is only for the blessed, and the sacred moments of silliness are where I find my heaven, where I find my heaven, where I find my
Matt? If I was in a permanent vegetative state, would you turn the machine off?
What do you mean, if?
No, really, would you switch it off? Or would you nurse me devotedly for years in the hope that I might one day regain consciousness?
What was the first one again?
That's the present Archie gave me. Cost 572 quid.
That's very tasteful, isn't it?
No, it's bloody hideous. When I think of what I could buy for 572 quid, I could weep.
Why don't you tell him you don't like it?
No, I can't do that. Archie told me it took him ages to choose a perfect thing for me. I could hardly tell him I didn't like it, could I?
It's not a very good sign for your marriage if you can't tell the truth about whether you like an ornament or not, though, is it? What are you going to be like when you've got to talk about stuff like you're bankrupt or you've got a fatal disease or your child's been run over and squashed to a pulp?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'll bear that in mind. Right, I'm going out now to meet Archie. I don't know what time I'll be home.
Man, can you ask Archie if I can borrow his green beret?
You what?
Well, if I want to join the Marines, I'm going to need to try the hat.
You want to join the Marines?
Yeah?
The Marines?
Yeah?
It's a very outdoor sort of life, you know, Matt. Still, they've probably got a tunnelling unit. Perhaps you could join that.
Just ask Archie for the beret.
Well, you're not really going to be a Marine, though, are you? I mean, it's just one of your fantasies, a bit on the pathetic side, really.
What's that, then? Huh? It's one of many books on the Marines I borrowed off Archie. I don't call that a pathetic fantasy. I call that serious research into my chosen career.
OK.
Believe me now, right?
No, I don't. Because I remember when you said you were going to be a deep-sea diver. You wore a rubber suit in the bath a couple of times and we heard no more about it. I remember when you were going to be a gamekeeper.
This is different. Being a Marine is about fulfilling my destiny.
But why is it?
When I was a kid, I had an older brother. No, you never knew him. That's because he was much older. He was 17 when I was born. He was training to be a Marine commando. He was days away from being a fully qualified Marine when there was a car accident. Danny was killed.
I've never heard you mention Danny before.
He was my hero, Mark. I was 5. I worshipped the ground he walked on. Broke my heart when he died.
But you've never mentioned him.
I wasn't allowed. My father said I must never say his name again.
God, man, that's awful. What a shitty thing to happen.
I had to identify the body as well. Mum was in too much of a state. Dad refused to believe he was dead. I was 5, Martin. I was so little. The doctor had to pick me up so I could look down at Danny's beautiful, slightly squashed face.
Yeah, good one. Game on.
I go through all that and you laugh. I'm insulted, Martin, and I am sickened.
I've been your best friend for 15 years, Matt. I think you might have mentioned it if you had a dead brother.
I'm not lying.
Funny bloke.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. I'm sure you're not doing it on purpose.
Thing is, I have no trouble at all getting an erection when you're not there.
That's reassuring.
When you're not there, but I'm thinking about you, I mean. I get the most enormous erections then. Monstrous buggers. But then when I see you, I'm not really sure what happens. The old chap goes a bit shy. It must seem rather odd being engaged to someone who hasn't managed to... who can't... Does it?
No. No, it doesn't seem odd.
I expect this happens to a lot of men.
I'm sure it does.
Never actually met someone who it's happened to.
You know what I think it is, Archie? You think I'm so perfect, you can't bring yourself to defile me. I mean, you've got to start thinking of me as ordinary. I mean, I am ordinary. If you could do that, I'm sure your old chap would start to feel a bit more sociable.
How can I think of you as ordinary? You're an angel.
Well, maybe if you saw me picking my nose, for example. Yeah? Is it working?
No. You just look like an angel who picks her nose.
Morning, Matt. Got your tea?
Archie says you can't borrow his beret because it's too precious. But dug this old one out of mine for you.
I made you a toasted tea cake for your breakfast. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Although slightly squashed.
Told her about Danny.
Oh, it's terrible luck you having lost a brother as well as your mum and dad. You sure you haven't got a dead sister? If you had a dead sister, you'd have the full set.
You don't believe me either.
Of course not.
Oh, come on, Matt. Admit you're lying.
Wish I was lying, Martin. I wish I was.
Have you got any photos of him?
My dad burnt them all. Dad went kind of insane after Danny died. Grief did terrible things to him. He used to wander from room to room, moaning and whimpering. Sometimes he used to come into my room in the middle of the night, grab hold of me around my neck, shake me hard and shout, "Why aren't you him? Why aren't you him? Why aren't you him?"
You're all right, aren't you, man?
Sure, yeah. You kids go to work, I've got some things to do.
age of the combat soldier was 26. In Vietnam, he was 19. In Vietnam, he was 19. In Vietnam, he was 19.
Okay, guys, good. One here, one there. Come on. Yeah, it's Captain, actually. Captain Malone. I'm just stationed here waiting for my mission. Thanks, guys. At ease. I'm nothing in this room. I don't exist in this room. I only exist for the jungle. Charlie's waiting for me there, squatting in the bushes, ready to blow my brains out.